Oh, beep, we are on. A shortened Lama lab test tonight. 7:15 in the evening, and everything is beeping at me while I start all these devices. Alrighty, cool. So we are about an hour and a half, I think 2 hours off the Tour de France stage starting tonight. So I thought I'd cram in one of these shorter Lama lab tests on a new firmware update that's come out. I like firmware updates, as you may know. Alrighty, let me get everything set up here. And everything is looking good. Although I need to match my jersey. Let's get that done. Garage, I should be able to change jerseys while I ride. Boom! Authentic. Christian, how you doing? Feel free to chat away as well as I'm riding along here. I will be doing the Lama lab test in a few moments, which will hurt a little more than normal because I haven't been on the bike a lot lately. But I'll get 2 5-minute sessions done rather than the 2 10-minute blocks. If I can get through those, we shall see. D-Day for Geraint Thomas. I think it's every day is D-Day for Anna Philippe at the moment. Expecting him to crack pretty hard, but you never know. I hope he holds on. I think it was the first true test last night. But one day is different to a week and a little bit in the hills on the tour. Good watching though, so good. So good watching that. Even the replay. I watched that again and it's just a game of attrition. It's just an elimination race. So it's all good. Yes, my avatar goes for the OS look because I can't do it in real life. No, I've been up staying watching up. Staying up, yeah, as you can tell, my words don't even get put in the right order. We're up watching the stages because we're still jet lagged from last week and the week before. A few power meters, oh god, on test. I'm just looking at the numbers. There's a firmware update out that I'm testing tonight, so it's not going to be a full Lama lab test. It is another Shimano power meter. One of the newer ones that I have. The company has asked me to check the firmwares and make sure it all, well, gives them some feedback on the firmware. So that's what I'm doing. I don't have the numbers or anything displayed on the screen here tonight. It's just data collection. Everything looks good until I just look sideways at the data. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. It's not what it's about. It's a side effect. I like jumping on these live streams here to see how everyone's doing, and I'll have a chat about the tour and what everyone's been up to. Videos have been few and far between here recently as I've been traveling. The backlog is huge. There's lots of firmware updates out to talk about. So we'll get to those. But for now, just before the tour comes on, we'll knock out a small session here. And I want to go past this new road that hasn't quite opened up yet. It's got to be open soon. Sean has a new bike coming. Let me just switch screens here so I can easily see the chat. 2018 Roubaix Sport. Nice one. Nice one. Or C77, how we doing? Good to see you. I've heard you have worked in IT security. Do I have a home lab? Yes, and yes. But a home lab these days usually just is confined to a terminal screen, which is on anything, a couple of SSH sessions. But that's my other life. If I talked about that on this channel, it'd send everyone to sleep. 2 days of racing in Tennant Creek. Nice and warm up there, Brett. So Scott's had a ride on the Garmin 830, so bad on GPS when compared with the old Wahoo Bolt. Any advice on settings? Okay, first of all, if you were using GPS and GLONASS is down at the moment. Or was it Galileo? One of those is down at the moment. I think it's GLONASS is down. Could be Galileo. It's on the interweb somewhere. Depends what mode you're using. Plug it into, well, Garmin Express and do an update sync to make sure it has the latest GPS firmware. Even though it should for the 830, I think they shipped with the correct device ID / firmware. See, here's the road that's still not open yet on Zwift. We're waiting for that one. Alright, 5 minutes, even got another 5 to go before we get this warm-up done. No, if the GPS is bad, factory reset, sit it in the sun for a ride or two, not out the front of your bike in the sun. Maybe turn it on just for a day and let it go flat. Make sure it syncs up all the satellites that it can see. We shouldn't have to do that with new tech, but that's some troubleshooting you can try. Yeah, try GLONASS. Is it Galileo? Again, it escapes me at the moment. My brain isn't that clear, but have a look at which one's currently down. Which shouldn't matter too much. It should default back to GPS as well, but let's see how you go with that. Any more reviews on the Wahoo Roam? How are you finding it? Robert, yes. Lots of reviews on the Wahoo Roam coming. Lots of features. Yeah, stay tuned. That's all I can say on that. The Strava turn-by-turn export has been released in the public stream for the Roam, so that's working. I have a video to put together on that. I've got all the filming done. I just need to cram the video together. And stay tuned. That's all I can say about the Roam updates. But as soon as that's out, what I'm alluding to, it'll be right here. I'll probably hit go, I'll hit publish. Oh, plus on my Twitter feeds and Insta feeds, because I really like this update that's coming. How's that for a tease? I love the questions too, so yeah, fire away with the chat. I am going to be doing some testing in a moment. My heart rate will be through the roof, but I do like the questions that come through. I'll jump on as many as I can. Hoping it was the new courses on Zwift. Yeah, me too. I might be hitting 3 million drops soon on here. Okay, further questions. Mark just bought a TCR Advanced Pro Zero. Fantastic. I was at Giant HQ the other day in Taiwan. Not the factory, but had a couple of meetings there. Had a look at their 2020 stuff. The new power meter from those guys, Cadex stuff. Having a chat to Giant about my videos on Giant bikes. That's all pretty good. What power meter would I suggest for an old steel bike? Asks, have I got it, Mikey? Sorry. Mikey Schuster. Yeah, pedals will work well. They'll be compatible with everything. If you've got an old steel bike, it's on an old Octolink bottom bracket, you might find it difficult finding compatible spiders or crank-based power meters for those, depending on the bottom bracket. Yeah, pedals will work. You can install them so easily, and they're relatively cheap. How am I finding the 4 on a 945? It's on charge for the second time, so I haven't got it on at the moment. No problems. That was with the updated firmware, updated beta Sony chipset for the GPS on there, which should be production soon for everyone. It did the Lama live track, sorry, not Lama live track, the Garmin live track in Brussels, and Max came and found me, so it was working. It recorded the bike ride that we did in Sondrio on the e-bikes. Uploaded to Strava, fine. Button-wise, no problems. People have reported issues with the buttons sticking or pressing weirdly, so no problems at all. And the Garmin Pay works perfectly. The video that I did the other day on that, the very first 5 seconds or 10 seconds was in, I don't even know which country I was in. Italy. I think it was somewhere in Italy where I paid with Garmin Pay. I asked Von, film this just to see if it works or not, and it works straight away. A lot of people are saying the Garmin Pay isn't supported by their card but it's about the bank, or the issuing bank. So I have a Visa, there's Amex, there's MasterCard support, but it's the issuing bank that has to be compatible with that. Luckily, my bank here in Australia is a little bit ahead of the times and supports all that. Just going to keep cranking the warm up here a little bit as these questions are flying through. So yeah, 4 on a 955, good so far, all good. I haven't tapped into like hardly any of the features of it though. But as a daily go-to watch, reminders, and the battery life is just brilliant. Makes a big difference. Yes, D asks if any new features are being actively developed for the Element Bolt or just maintenance security. Yes, new features. Where applicable. The routing obviously is pretty much where it is on the Bolt and the Element, the originals, because of the maps. The Roam will get more and more, I guess, as they make more use of the metadata and the extra mapping details on those units and the extra processing. As for compatibility and feature sets, yes. So stay tuned on that. It's a good one coming, very good one coming for all what hooligans. Rumour is the new course may be part of the Zwift Off the Map series, maybe even today. Okay. I'll be sleeping. We've got the tour tonight and sleeping. If it pops up, I'll jump on and have a look. Be nice if they just open the gates though, if the road's already there. Ben asks, when doing a calibration of either power meter or a spin down on a trainer, is the calibration installed on the device itself? And is that carried out the calibration, i.e. the Garmin? Okay, so I think the question there from Ben is, when performing a calibration or a spin down on a device or a power meter, where the calibration is stored. Is it stored on the, say within Zwift here, or on the unit itself? It's stored on the unit itself. So a head unit, and I'll do that in just a few moments. For these 2 power meters, the Neo doesn't need one. The calibration, it just sends an ANT plus signal, do a 0 offset, it waits, it 0 offsets, and that is stored on the power meter. And then from there I can connect anything to it, and it's calibrated. That's why if you were to do a spin down outside of Zwift and come into Zwift, the spin down is still valid. My question's always been if you've got a double-sided power meter, left or right, which is 2 independent power meters, when you send a calibration request or a 0 offset request, does it really go to both? And how do you really know it goes to both? There's no real way of saying okay and okay. I think the stages comes back with 2 numbers. It'll show 1 number, then show the next. I think the 4Eyes comes back with a 10-10 number, saying that both are okay. But it's a bit of an unknown. There's no real standard to saying calibration okay or 0 offset okay. I think there needs to be a bit of work done there. I'll try and remember to ping every company though and get their feedback on exactly what it means to have an okay calibration from both sides. It'd be interesting to know. There we go, Scott's done some research, Galileo is down. There we go, cool. You still have some hope for Garmin. Mark Jones from Wales, how you doing? Hopefully the summer weather is over there. It wasn't very summer when we were in Europe the other day. Down in Italy it was nice and warm. Amsterdam was a little cold. Okay, Lee Parsons asks, what does it mean on Zwift Power if it says the event has custom power-ups? Well, custom power-ups, there's no custom power-ups, they're all known. So, for example, I've got the truck at the moment, which is a drafting power-up. There's, what have I got? TT helmet, there's featherweight. Burrito is back. However, that's probably what they're referring to. Burrito is back, but only for certain events. Ghost mode is a power-up. So I think that what that means is custom power-up selection has been made by the event organisers. Because there's no banana skin which will make people slide out. There's none of those sort of custom power-ups. Blake asks, oh, there's a ton of questions coming through tonight. I like this. I could just keep writing for questions all night. I'll never get to the Lama lab test. That's okay. I'm delaying the inevitable pain that's going to come. Have I heard of issues with the Shimano power meter stop sending signal to a Wahoo Bolt head unit, asks Blake. No. No. Just trying to think if there's anything different with the Shimano power meter compared to any others. If it's over Bluetooth, maybe. I'd be pairing Ant Plus though for everything. Even Garmin come out and say, just use Ant Plus if you're using head units. So maybe if there's issues with the Bluetooth on that. Other than that, I would disconnect the internal, but when a Shimano power meter has a little connecty thing for both sides, I disconnect that. I try a factory reset if it's playing up. I try a firmware update. And then a repairing to the bolts. Make sure the bolts on the latest firmware, I think 42.17. Don't quote me, but if you just jump on the web and type in Element Bolt firmware, you'll go straight to the website you need on that one. So for Ant Plus, not sure. But when in doubt, reset everything, firmware everything, flush out any legacy settings. I've always found the factory defaults helps. If you've had a device that you've updated incrementally for 12 months or so, there's always some sort of legacy setting, or if you remember the old days, the old INI files. It's not what they use these days though, but the concept is there. Delete, reinstall. And then failing that, if you can actually repeat the steps and cause it to happen, then grab the power meter firmware number, the Element Bolt firmware number, and then raise the support ticket. I go to Wahoo first. They should have a stock of power meters on the shelf there to test out and replicate issues. And see how you go from there. Beware of the rabbit holes. Mark Howard, tried out the Giant power meter today. My astiometers always show me the left side dominant. Giant tells me I'm right side dominant. Based on your vids, not surprised. Yeah. The Giant power meter, I think they're fudging the right either left or high, left high or low, sorry, the right high or low. But if you've gone through that report on the Shimano power meters that I did, it would probably never be quite right. They'll be able to get it close. We'll see. I have seen the newer MY20 version of the Giant power meter. Same placement of the strain gauges. Very neat design, a beautiful design though. It tucks everything away. If I've got a chance tonight, I'll put it up on GPLama.com. Just a quick sneak peek of that. But they have tucked the all the electronics underneath the crank. You can't even, if you look at it from the front side, the crank, you can't even tell. It's beautiful. But fundamental issues with that crankset, which hopefully Shimano will deal with. They've got to be dealing with that. It's a big issue. Jimbo Jones was on the Maven stream before, so Maven did a HDR barbecue ride before and had a phone number up in the chat. Risky move. So I told Maeve I'd call in, so we had to call in, and Maeve had the audio all worked out. It was great. A few race stories, a bit of a chat with the Maeve. Fake Star 45, would I be testing the IQ Squared power meter soon? If I can get a hold of one, sure. It's on the cards, I'm emailing them all the time. But they need a product. It's been a long time coming. If anybody's holding out for the IQ Squared power meter, go buy something else. Just forget it for now. Totally forget them for now until they have something to put in your hand. There's no use waiting around for something that's not proven. That's nothing against IQ Squared. It's everything against everyone getting the best out of their cycling. And there are solutions out there that do work, and there are for sale. But as soon as they're out, I want one, for sure. I want the road, I want the mountain bike version. We'll see if they work, we'll see how they work. Hopefully the install's nice and easy. And there we go. David asks, experience with any known issues, the Tax Neo. I've had the Neo for 3.5 years, maybe 4 years now. Yeah, there's a few little things with the Neo. The big steel flywheel that you're seeing on the image there can grind a little bit, which needs to be removed, cleaned and put back on. It's quite rare now though. What else? Virtual tire slip. What else with the Neo? And power accuracy is in erg mode at very high flywheel. Well, anytime. If you have that flywheel speed really spinning up, 45 km/h plus. Auto lap on one of my Garmin's, great. Then the power discrepancies will start spreading from your real power meter on the bike. Have a look at my long-term review of the Tax Neo. I think I did that only 6 months ago. May have been 12 months ago. I've done a video on the Tax Neo discussing all the ins and outs. I use it, or I prefer it for these specific tests that I'll be doing tonight, which is the Lama Lab test, erg mode testing, low flywheel speeds, steady state, and a few over and unders because the trainer is really responsive to those over and unders. But for racing, for racing on Zwift and fast bunch rides, I prefer the kicker with the flywheel. And for training, Lama Revolution. No smarts, just buttery smooth, extremely loud, old school trainer. That's just me being nostalgic. It's a great trainer. No through axle support though. Damn. Power on a budget. Is a power pod a cheaper alternative to a pedal-based system? I'd say no. The power pod is what do they call it? It is an opposite force measuring power meter. And for sure they're super cheap. We're looking at under $200, and it measures the wind speed coming in, and it measures a few other factors to calculate your power. It can be frustrating. If you're an expert with data and peripherals, you can get the things working. I believe they need a 10-minute calibration with every ride. Or if something changes, or you're in a bunch ride or something or other, again, you need to keep going back and changing it. They are a power meter or a power estimator. I haven't touched one for a good reason. Power meters, like direct force measurement power meters, are pretty cheap these days. And they just work. Turn them on, they go. Like the old power tap hubs. Clip in and ride. Something like that. There's compromise. Any known updates to the Neo 2 to get the cadence working with Zwift? That's there. Actually, this is the Neo 1, sorry. I've never had any problems with cadence and Zwift with the Neo 2 myself. Whether that's my big foot properly getting in the way. I was on firmware 1.8. 1.9 popped up and then disappeared. Not sure. I think it was a Bluetooth problem with the cadence. But everything here is ANT Plus for the majority of the testing that I do. Alright, I'm going to have to get stuck into this test or else I'll never get it done. It was meant to be a short one. I think did I name the stream Lama Lab test short? I didn't. Good. Out of jail free. Yeah, virtual slip on low cadence drills in workouts in erg mode. Not a fan of low cadence drills, yes. There's a few things you can do on the Neo to make sure you got your correct weight installed or configured with whichever software you're using for the Neo. That does help. But once you've learned how to ride that virtual slip, you can sort of sidestep it by not doing those specific high torque, hard efforts. Test time, all right. Enough chat. I do appreciate the questions. Keep them rolling through though. It keeps my time going fast. Now I'm just going to zero offset these pedals and the other power meter. So it's unclipped. I think I explain this every single time, but it also keeps me honest. Okay, so we have the Asioma Duos. Should come back with a 0. Probably a bit out of focus. Bang, 0, cool. Asiomas are good. I did them just before I started. The bike has been sitting in this room for probably an hour, so the temperature is all. I try and have everything absolutely kosher. That's done. Now here's this other power meter that I have, which, what is this? This is a 530. I haven't got the screen set up, so I can't even see the data in real time on this one. This will be a calibrate. This should probably come back negative 21. -24. I'm only going to do it once. That's what we do outside. The calibration isn't right after a single offset when everything is absolutely perfect, straight up and down, no movement. Then there's a problem if that doesn't work. Lapping them all. 1, 2, 3. Haha, did we make ourselves any custom biddens at Elite? No, we didn't make any there. The bottle factory is a little further out the road at Elite. However, they did make them for us. They gave us bottles with our pictures on them. So I have a whole box of Lama bottles. And Von got some too. They made a picture of Von. Do I want the heart rate strap on? This is going to be... Yeah, okay, we'll leave it on. E for erg. And I'm going to make those little sections here and here just 5 minutes. So I'll hit tab through those. And we'll try and get through the overs and unders as best we can. It's going to be a bit of a slog. With my having been off the bike for a few weeks. Chang Brad asks about the experience of Asioma power meter, whether any power spikes or dropouts ever occurred. No, the Asiomas have been pretty good, though there is, in the sprints, sometimes I see one sprint data point drop. Just the very first of a sprint, it'll just drop in one. I'm yet to dig further into that. I don't know what's happening, whether it's the pedals, whether it's me, the data collection, but it's just this little quirk. That's the only thing. Other than that, not a problem. So it's only one press, like one single point, and then it just goes straight back up to the standard maximal sprints. I'll have a look at that. They're due for a new firmware update out, so I'll wait for that one to come out. And then we'll see. Am I planning on riding the challenge ride at the 2020 TDU? No, Jimbo, I'm not, because it's point to point. You end up in Murray Bridge. Who the hell rides from Adelaide to Murray Bridge? And how do you get home? The organisers of the TDU really need to have a look at what works and what doesn't, especially for the challenge rides. They need to be returned to start. If you have 5,000 riders getting from Adelaide to Murray Bridge, which is still, 90 kilometres away from Adelaide, how the hell do you get home? That's 90 cars. No, 90 cars. Sorry, 90 kilometres away. Sorry, 5,000 riders. Let me get my math right. You're looking at 5,000, 4,000, 3,000 vehicles having to head out there. How is that allowed by the organisers? Let's have 5,000 people ride their bikes for green energy. Now everyone get in their cars. Doesn't make any sense. So no, I did the advertiser ride when it was from Glenelg to... Was it Stirling? I think. And that was only 30 k's from Adelaide, which was fine. You just rode a big loop around and you were near home, over the hills and you were home. You can ride the whole thing. Bus transfers including bikes for a price, so they've upped the price. Up the price for people who want a bus lift. So, I mean, 5,000 bikes though, let's just say it's 5,000. I'm going large. Nah, I'll have to give that one a miss. It's a good event. I had a great time. We ended up racing the last 30 or 40 kilometres of the one I did a few years back with Pat Yonker. There was probably a bunch of 20 of us off the front. And Pat Yonker and I were pulling back like ourselves, pulling turns. One guy that takes off, and he was the guy who won the whole thing. It was Pat Yonker and I pulling turns through this last little town. And I mean, he's a legend of the sport, riding with us all. That was really cool. But and that was easy to get home after that. I don't know why they don't take that into consideration. Fair enough, there's road closures and things. But like the Amy's Grand Fondo, imagine if that finished in Warrnambool. It doesn't make any sense. It finishes back in the same town where everyone stays, makes it easier. So, there's always good riding at Adelaide, no matter what happens. I'm usually working in the mornings, out for probably 90 minutes in the hills, down to watch the start, and then enjoying whatever else is left of the day. Like Adelaide is so chill that time of year. Riding in the hills last year, I was up across, is it near Basket Range out there? And here comes somebody in the other direction. I was riding by myself, 10:30 in the morning. Somebody in the Oz Champ stripes. I'm like, oh, some guy's got himself and bought a Santoni jersey at the village. It was Michael Freeberg, the actual Oz Road champ. And And we know each other, so we spun around and had a chat and said g'day. He was out there riding by himself, so the Oz Road Champ. Just riding in the hills, enjoying the sunshine. It's a brilliant week over there. No corkscrew. Well, the corkscrew's always there for us to do. It's bloody hard. Just don't take your Pinarello shoved with third-party batteries down the seat tube. Up the corkscrew. Alright, I gotta get this done. Remind me to turn right up here. I don't want to end up on the hill for all this test. Okay. It's Emma Fowler. How are we doing, Emma? When does the tour start? We must be all sitting on the couch waiting for the tour to start on SBS. Oh, if you have your companion app nearby, if you give me a ride on, it will pop up on the screen. You'll be able to see how long the delay is between real time. What's getting tested? Firmware. There's a Shimano-based power meter firmware that I'm putting through its paces tonight. Oh, we've got 96 watches online. What just spiked that? Awesome. Thanks, YouTube. So I'm waiting for this road to open up here. It's on the map and everything. We'll do a ride through when that gets opened up, hopefully soon. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit subscribe and your name will come up with the dancing llama down here somewhere. If you've already subscribed, cool, thank you. But if not, if you just new or you haven't hit subscribe, your name will pop up on screen with the dancing llama. Totally worth it. That happened really quickly. Awesome. So the latency's good. Excellent. All right. Before I get this test done, I'm gonna turn right up here. I'll end up having to do my little sprint test on the Alpha Zwift. No, sorry, not Alpha Zwift. It's the Epic Com. So let me get through these trees. Come on. Someone has to subscribe for the dancing llama to take place. I'm pretty sure I still have it set up for that. These tests will get easier as I get older. I'm only doing steady state 250. They're already easy. For a reason. I've factored that in. That the protocol. Oh, my dancing llama's not working. No. GPS problems on Zwift, yep. There we go, haha. Dancing llama. Now, here's what I'm waiting for. That's going to turn me left. I want to turn. That's me just delaying having to do this erg sesh. Alright. I only said 5 minutes each, that's enough data for it. Let me check the gearing I'm in. Okay, mid cassette on the back, straight chain, clean chain. Small at the front, slow the flywheel down for more accuracy because we do all that stuff. And then we get stuck into it. Oh, the house heater has just kicked in. Brilliant. Let's think balanced thoughts. Did I mention the Asiomas are really good at matching the Neo? The Asiomas are really good at matching the Neo. I like that. Scott, I've got a ton of footage of Ray, Des and I on the Buffalo style e-bike racing up 20% grades. I took a ton of footage over in Europe, but it's hard to put it together in any kind of story. I'll cram it into a Lama drives. When do I think the new Zwift expansion route? Soon, I hope. Because I get lots of good views if I do a ride through, and I love new roads. So, soon, I hope. Any climbing tips for Mr. Ricardo Portes? Who's Mr. Ricardo Portes? Climbing tips? Climb like Alan Phillip. Alan Phillip's doing really well at the moment. Alright. Neo is superb at holding. Hey, new subscriber, Emil. Thank you. Dancing llamas for all. Oh, my left right after being off the bike for a bit. It's a bit wonky. Be nice if that was on screen here though, rather than me having to look at my Garmin for that. How's the heart rate for this? 167. R.I.P. Richie. Richie. Speaking of Tour Down Under, hopefully Richie has a good Tour Down Under again. Mr. Wollonga Hill. Mr. January. Okay. I will speak less and less as my heart rate goes higher and higher. Just 5 minutes of this, I'll tab to 5 minutes of 250. I'm going to be obliterated at 250. My balance is off. That's better. It really needs to be on screen. Even if it's just a little... The question is though, if you have a power meter that doesn't correctly measure left and right properly, then you don't know what true left-right is. The one I'm looking at the moment, I know. It's left-right, okay. It's the rider being the problem. So who's everybody's tip for the tour tonight? Let me know. It's not an epic berg stage, is it? It's a semi-hilly stage. Will Alan Phillip crack tonight? Will Haig be let off the leash to take a stage? Free Haig. Hashtag. Is Quintana cooked? Was his contract not going to be renewed? That's why he's off to some team next year that we don't even know. There's lots going on. 3 Cat 1s. Yeah, just a small pedal. Alan Phillip must be on the juice, eh? I don't know, it's entertaining. He's done well though. Downtown on Desert Flats, we're going downtown. Good to see you, Lindsay. Yes, I'm back live in the Lama Lab. Oh, went past 5 minutes. Now I have to hit tab and talk less. But Alan Phillip in yellow looks good in yellow. The bar tape, because it's all about looks. The yellow accents on his pants. It's good style. I like it. Looks to be a respected rider. I'd actually have no idea. I don't think any of us would, but there's not. He's just getting the job done for now. Let's go downtown. But the last 5Ks of last night's stage was brilliant. my heart rate for this. Oof. If anybody saw the picture I put up on Insta, it's like riding an FTP after a few weeks off. Your nose bleeds. Like you're concentrating hard, but it hurts. 179 heart rate. Shout out to the porridge gang. Good job, porridge goats. Came across some friendly goats there in Amsterdam. Kept interrupting me. Yeah, George Bennett. Ripping last night. Jumbo Visma. Which heart rate? Currently on the 4 eyes. Because my ticker's gone flat and I didn't change the battery out. Okay, balance is good. It's going to be a grimace in a minute. Rawson, goat emoji. I like it. What does the llama emoji look like in Facebook chat? Does it? Oh, sorry, YouTube chat. Does it work? Because this llama emoji that I am is struggling. 2 minutes. Let's go to the volcano. Oh, I am cooked. The colours along the bottom, red is heart rate. So steady state for me, you can see my heart rate slowly coming up. And the colours are percentages of FTP. So 200 watts grey, easy. Blue, in theory, is what, zone 2, 3, something like that. Me being unfit, it's probably about my FTP. 50-50, hey yeah! I think Richie will only get a stage if he swings off the back, loses 10 minutes, and then is allowed to roam free in further stages. Tax Neo today, Hendrik. I'm the Tax Neo for this Lama lab test. Yeah, this is hurting. 181 at 250 watts. I should train more when I'm overseas. It's good to have time off though. Alright, I'm going to tab out of this into 4-minute free ride. We have 5 minutes of data. Nice and smooth. Good job, Neo. Bang, okay. And you can see there the data at the bottom, if it's up on screen now. Power drops, heart rate will slowly come down. Not as quick though when I'm unfit. Lindsay's got the 945 on the way, good stuff. Yeah, Lindsay, it's been great so far. Good replacement for the 935. It's on my bench charging at the moment. The second charge in a month, 3 weeks. Either way, so it's going well. Paul, I'm using a combination of Erg and Sim, which is a nice little feature for these workouts that I've got here in Zwift. because you can do a combination of erg and sim. So for the intervals that actually matter, and I want to hold certain wattages, erg, and for things like right now where I'm just cruising, auto lap, it goes back into sim, so I'm having to push this little hill here, just like I'm riding outdoors. So that's the beauty of the mixed mode workouts. I would still love for them to have a sim mode workout where I can prescribe gradient percentage over time or distance. Time would be probably the better way to do it, so 5 minutes at 5%, 5 minutes at 10%, graded simulation. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think Golden Cheetah do that. You definitely can't do it on Zwift though. You can't program in certain percentages for a certain time. I don't know why. It kind of looks silly, I guess, if you're riding 10% on a flat grade, but it also looks silly ripping into erg mode intervals down hills. So it's not just a visual thing. Chat with Maven earlier. Yeah, he jumped on. I should up the fans. It's going to be a sweat fest in here now. I do need to do a slight sprint on this though to get this data looking neat. My tune's still happening? Just. We'll turn around. Yeah, turn the fan up just once, thank you. I had a question, Yvonne. How's Little Llama doing? Little Llama's 2 thumbs up on Little Llama. Very small thumbs that we can't see. Oh, good. Okay, what I'm going to do, I know the terrain here, so I'm going to come around this corner. Have I still got enough time to do it? I don't. Shit. Okay, I've only got 51 seconds until I get into this. I was talking too much. Okay, I just need to spike the power. I just need about 1,000 watts or so just registered. Make sure this power meter is on point. Oh, wrong gear. Whoa, that was really the wrong gear. Did we get there? Good, we got over. Okay. Now it wants me to go into I'm going to have to do these over and under straight away. This is going to kill me. One moment. Okay. That gives me enough to get the responsiveness anyway out of that. I'll be back to the questions in just a moment once I get through these. Oh, Scott, hang on, I just completely screwed that up. I'm going to blow out of that. I was going to answer the S-Works question before that came up. Yeah, I like the S-Works stuff, I really do. So, when it came for me to upgrading my S-Works bike, the prices went up about $3,000 on the bikes though. So that was a nope from me. I still like those, the Wolfpack. Their bikes, oh good. Okay. Focus. We'll get these done. Says me looking back at the questions. Feel free to post anytime, I'll loop back to them. I just have to get this done at 50-50 on the pedals and 350. Boom! Yeah, 350 is not bad. Balance bikes and a Lama lab test. I need one at the moment for my left-right. Patrick's ride to work has llamas on it. $350, let's get it done. Keeping an eye on my balance. particularly important for these tests with the power meter that I have on. Oh God, 450 coming up. Finished, how you doing? I'm just about to suffer a little bit, just a little. $450, here we go, balanced. Oh, running over a cat. Can you get caught in your derailleur and still pedaling? Come on, balance. Perfect. Last one. Troy, is that live streaming? That'd be good if it was. Boom. Balance, come on. Got it. All right, give me a sec. That's nice. The Neo does a good job for that specific task. All right. So much for a shortened Lama lab test. Will asks about the isotonic mode on the Tax Neo. Well, both the isotonic and isokinetic modes are, they're untapped, they're unused. No one knows what to do with them. Tax themselves, I don't think even know what to do with them. Because the only way to get to them is within the app. The little console testing app. There's no prescribed workouts for them. It's a real specialty thing. Now both of those modes, I think isokinetic, fix me if I'm wrong though, isokinetic, kinetic moving, is that no matter how hard you pedal, it will always go at the same speed or the same RPM. And then the isotonic, which is it always at the same power? Oh, I can't get my head around it at the moment. They're just real, actually it's the same pedal stroke the whole way around, isn't it? So you need to keep the power on the whole way around. It's making sure your pedal smoothness is up to like 100%, which you'll never get to. So they're really both artificial modes that may have application in recovery, rehab, for operations, people with imbalances, not even cyclists. Neural pathway work, people who can't walk maybe. We just don't know what those modes could be used for. $1097 watts, 187 BPM. All right, cool. That's all my data collected there. So it's this through here that I'll compare the 3 power meters that I have, and this through here. Sprint's just interesting. It's too short though to get a full sprint profile, but it's about the peak power from the 3 power meters, and here the over and unders are just a real concentrated, how would you put it? Concentrated version of these two here with a lot more power. So the Lama lab test protocol is doing really well. Keep an eye on GPLama.com too. I'll be putting up something on the 24th or 25th, I think, regarding the protocol and how it's been used to identify issues with the product, and they've gone and fixed it based on that, which is really cool. It's nice doing videos here on YouTube and hopefully being somewhat entertaining, but I'd rather be informative. People can take away and learn something And that's now not just the customers facing or the user facing side of things. Companies are now using the results of the Lama lab test to make better products. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. The flow-on effect is that everyone else has access to better product, which is super cool. Really, really cool. So keep an eye on GPLama.com for that. I may do a video on that one as well. Coming soon. Vonnie as well, baby Lama as well. So, all going well. Life changes as we know it soon. Very soon. The SBS coverage of the TDF is really good. Robbie McEwen, Matt Keenan, along with who else is on there? Tomo, Macca, Sophie Smith. Water, thank you. Hopefully that was for me. But I'm sweating up a storm now. How many of the new features of the Neo 2 has been implemented or announced? Very good question. None. None. I think Garmin got in the way of that. The acquisition of Garmin. Garmin's acquisition of Tax, I think, has got in the way of that. So the Neo 2 has onboard memory for storage, which they alluded to when it first came out, that would do cool things. I'm guessing the only thing I can put 2 and 2 together with onboard storage would be pre-programmed workouts on the unit that would execute headless. So if you take the Tax Neo 2 to a car park to train on, or to warm up on, sorry, it can have your warm-up already pre-programmed without you having to pull out your phone or link anything to it. That's the only thing I can think of. We've seen nothing of that though, or what they're doing with that. Firmware update still hasn't changed from what, 1.18. So don't know. We're still waiting for the Tax bike as well. I think that's, so there's a few hang-ups at Tax, I think, on those feature sets. Lama drives will be interesting with a screaming baby in the back seat. I do have new microphones for the Lama drives. Anti-baby microphones. We'll just install one of those taxi cab, privacy shields. Bzzz. Shut up, baby Lama. Oh good. Anyway, I won't ramble too long. I won't keep going on and on. I'll keep this to around an hour because videos like this even just get thumbs downs because they go for so long. So if anyone has any questions, fire away. I'll jump on your questions straight away. Questions about anything, fire away. I don't know the answers to most, but I'll either have a go or point you in the right direction. Tech questions about Europe trip, what's coming up, Tour de France tech, podcast. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast that Ray and I do each week, mostly each week, the Fit File podcast, subscribe with your apps there. We did a live recording last week over in Amsterdam, which is really good Q&A at the end. I love the questions live because there's no prep. And you never know what question's coming up. It was really good. A lot of good questions about what we do. Best trainer for Zwift? That's the question that I need an answer to as well. Don't know. We're still looking for the answer. Still looking for the answer. But test ride if you can. I think that the dominant ones in the market are still up there. You've got your Kickers, your Neos, your Hammers, your Drivos. You've got your mid-range now, which is your Cores, your Dorettos. The Sweeto, but we don't know anything about the Sweeto just yet. Well, not a lot. We need to have a few more people on them to tell us what the experience is all about. And then on the lower range, you have your wheel-ons. Not a lot of movement in the wheel-on market recently. I think, though, the wheel-on market's going to be, I was going to say struggle, but it doesn't really struggle. One of the challenges for the wheel-on market is the through-axle support. What do I think of the Zwift Community Labs races? Haven't seen any. I believe they're spinning up races every week and just testing a few things out, but I'm not sure what their test is. It unreleased features or I'm not sure. Hal Lee, thank you for subscribing. And the Dancing Lama, good job. Much appreciated. Do I participate in any regular Zwift bunchies? Hump Day ride Wednesday nights, typically, when I can. They're great. Huge bunch, run by Tim Searle. Good format. You can race, you can just ride, you can enjoy the banter. Wednesday night's our time, HDR rides. Or if you want a good quality bunch ride for anything labelled HDR, fantastic. Scott, the Fitfire podcast is awesome, thank you. There's always something to talk about, always. But I'll go through to just over the hour here. We'll get 30 Ks on the clock. Stuart, the Be Cool. The Be Cool. It's a work in progress. So I have one, the Be Cool Air. It's just behind me here. Had 5 or 6 engineers connect to it the other day via one of my machines. That was interesting. They had a look at the power mapping on that and got it lined up a little bit better than what it was out of the box. The ride of it's very much like an Elite Trainer. It's a stepper motor. Actually, I haven't taken the thing apart. The characteristics of it though, that it's a stepper motor inside, which moves the magnets in and out on the resistance unit. So, I've got to do a test on their software. That's one of the requests from them that I try. So I've got to load up the Be Cool simulator. Because at the end of the day, their focus is their software, not Zwift. But given it's compatible with Zwift, I'd want it to work with Zwift as well. So, it's complex. It's a beautiful looking trainer. I think the Be Cool Air is the best looking trainer, hands down. Best designed. It looks like a bike. I love it. Love the look of the thing. Thoughts on the Giants wheel set? The SR1s I have on. They've been fine. Absolutely fine. The only issue that I have is that they're still the old school 17mm internal rim. I would have loved to see them push out to the 20 or 21s. 19, 20, 21 fat rim to allow for a bit more comfortable ride, the wider tyres, where everything's moving towards. The Cadex stuff from Giant looks amazing. Had some hands on with the Cadex stuff over there in Taiwan last week. If I can get my hands on some Cadex wheels, now that'd be cool. Best watch for cycling. You'd have to go with a Garmin of some type. The Forerunner Multisport is... That's what I've been using, the 935 for the last 2 years, switching over to the 945. For all the cycling stuff that I do, it's my backup cycling, GPS and data collector. It's been fine. Expensive though. Quick questions, anyone? Fire away. I better wrap this up. What have we got? Tour coming up tonight. I can't wait. It should be great. More hills. But we have some data to go through. And some work to do tonight. It's the best time of day to do work because no one's calling. And the emails are stopped because it's the weekend. So I could just whack out tons and tons of emails sitting there watching Tour de France in the middle of the night. So we're lucky in that respect that it is in the middle of the night here in Australia to watch. 31 kilometers. I can't stop at 30.3. Cheers, Hendrik. Love the support, mate. It keeps things ticking along here. That's why all the YouTubers beg for subscribers or tell people to hit subscribe. It's about keeping the content flowing and the growth of the channels ticking over. This is for any channel, not just this one. But it's a metric that YouTube keep a track of. We don't know exactly how YouTube works, but you got to keep uploading, keep things interesting, or else you get sunk like the Titanic. Have I considered doing home automation besides the Lama cycling stuff? As in home automation, what do you mean? As in automatic lights or sprinklers or for the garden or covering that sort of tech? Finis is buying a Giant TCR, excellent. SBS ad coverage by the Black Velvet song, yes. If I had a race coming up, how long would I give myself to get fit, race fit again? It really depends on the level that I wanted to get back to. 3 months minimum before I'd be happy at where I'm at, and that's full hardcore training for 3 months, so that's what, 12 weeks, 13, 14 weeks. before I'd be happy, but it's all about measuring that along the way. If I hit the targets within 6 weeks, I'd be happy, but I would have stuffed that up. It really depends, and everyone's different. If I was going to target a race, I'd have to go 3 months out at least. Small ring for erg, for power accuracy. Unfortunately, if you're using your own power meter on the bike though, you can use whatever ring you want, and if you want to feel like you're TTing, then whack it in the big ring, get that flywheel spinning up. But you might, if you're using power from the trainer, it might be a little wonky. There we go, 31.2 Ks. I'm gonna have to stop now or else I'll just go all night. So the tour is on in a few minutes. Thanks everyone for coming along for that ride, that Lama lab test. That's 3 power meters that I'm gonna have to put together. But the aciomas again, matching the Neo just neatly, which is what it was all about. And funnily enough, there was no observer bias on the other power meter because I don't even have the numbers showing on that. So it's gonna be a whole new set of data that I haven't seen yet. All good. Summer vacation starts today. Oh man. Wish our summer vacation started today, but it's still winter here. But anyway, we have Zwift, we have the tour on, and the coffee machine is still warm, so I'll have to get a coffee. Thanks again for viewing. A few videos coming up this week. Stay tuned for those. A lot of firmware updates and things which I get excited about. If you don't, that's okay. There'll be other cool stuff coming up soon. Hopefully those Zwift roads open up. As soon as they do, we're back here live doing a ride through, and we'll see how we go. All right, have a good evening or day. Enjoy the tour, and fingers crossed Alan Phillip can hold yellow. I'm a big fan of Alan Phillip. All right, we'll see you later.